Hi, hello, welcome to stream. It feels as if I haven't been here for a while, but I think I did a stream last Thursday, so welcome. My feet feel cold. A cushion. So welcome to the Thursday evening stream. I do these streams every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and you watch through my this YouTube channel, and you ask questions through my Skype account. So friend me on Skype and you can send questions written or you can ask to call in. And my Skype is Rebekah Maroon. So I tend to just do an introduction first of all, and then I open it for questions to be asked through Skype. Maybe you can't hear me. Let me just check. Someone's saying, oh, hi Lola. So maybe you can hear me. It's all working great. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I also do a silent sitting once a month on a Sunday morning. The next one will be in April, I believe. I'm not sure what date yet, but it'll be in April. I'll announce it nearer to the time when I'm going live. So you can join that by going to my website and going to upcoming events, and you'll see the information about that. Yeah. Okay, so I shall do an introduction. And then open for questions. Maybe you can hear a sound, a water sound. It's my fish tank. The pump is pumping, and you can hear the air circulating. Okay. It's just so beautiful that life is happening. It's just miraculous that life is happening, life is appearing. Which is so bizarre because from I don't know when, but from a young age, we're conditioned into this idea that this is about something. This is about something, acquiring something, achieving something, having something, reaching something. And so this restlessness, this agitation, this constant drive forward to the future, this constant identification with time and the meaning and the importance of time and future becomes so strong. Begin to constantly live in this agitation, live in this time-bound expectation. So it becomes unbearable, this, what you could call the present or what is happening, becomes unbearable. So it becomes anything to avoid this, anything to avoid what is happening. And we'll take it all, anything, good or bad, we'll take it. A distraction from this, anything to invest in. Something to give the mind food to keep on looking for safety, for freedom, for love in time. Anything. So to point to life itself being the answer, or life itself being what's being looked for in time, can seem crazy or completely like you're off your rocker. Like, it's like, because it's just, there's nothing here. What is there to be joyous or happy about? What's so fulfilling about being, about life, about this being, this presence, when the world offers so much more excitement and highs and lows and drama? The world offers so much food, so much pleasure. But then with pleasure has to come pain. And then that's where the suffering tends to happen. And then the seeking starts to escape that pain, to escape that suffering. But it's looking for more pleasure, for more things to take it out of pain, more pleasure. because it can only look in form, in the world of existence. It can only look in that. And the choices in that are pain and pleasure. But what's being pointed to in spirituality or non-duality, what's being pointed to isn't in that dualism of pain and pleasure, isn't in form, the birth and death of form. It isn't in that. But that's all the mind knows, is that birth and death of form, objects, experiences, thoughts, ideas, feelings. So therefore, this message isn't about communicating to a mind, communicating to the intellect. It's beyond an intellectual exchange. This isn't one mind talking to another mind, trying to convince it of something. This isn't about the person or the seeming autonomy of a human. It isn't talking in that realm of things at all. Yes, the mind can understand certain concepts given, ideas given. It can understand and reflect and see, oh yeah, it can begin to understand that, and that's lovely, and it's freeing and relaxing. But ultimately, it's not about the mind understanding or not understanding. This isn't something for the mind, meaning it isn't something for that intellect, that voice in the head saying, me, I know this, I don't know that. It isn't something for anyone or anything. And because it's not personal, it's impersonal, it makes it very, very beautiful. Because it can't be owned. It can't be owned and controlled and had. Because it isn't something to have. It has no shape or quality or form or colour or properties. And yet it's the direct experience of every quality, every form, everything, every perception. So believe it or not, what is longed for isn't a thing. Isn't a thing. Isn't a thing. What is longed for is what you are, which isn't a thing. but it's what you are. I mean, you can't get any more beautiful than that. What is longed for is what you already are. So if that's what's being spoken, what you long for is what you already are, then what is this communication about? If it's what you already are, what is this apparent awakening about? Well, I shall tell you. Well, um, it's about a dream that's happening. It looks terrible. It's really flat. Let me just give it a bit of a... Yeah. It's about a dream that's happening. It just seems to happen in humans. Where it seems as if there's someone, an entity, a person, an entity, an entity living in the body. So as this speaking is happening, as this looking is happening, as this hearing is happening, this dream began of there being someone in here seeing and hearing and speaking and doing and feeling. And while that may seem quite innocent and, so what? But with that, as it took on more and more things, so it's seeing this, it's experiencing this. Life is happening and things are happening, pain and pleasure. But as this story and dream of someone being in here experiencing what's happening, it became heavier and heavier and more suffering. Because I am someone incomplete. I am someone separate and small and limited, and the world is out there and it's dangerous and uncontrollable and it's scary. And all these things happen to me. And this is my conditioning, and this is my body, and this is my feeling, and these are my ideas and my thoughts and my perceptions. So all these different ideas get taken hold of. And all that's really longed for is freedom, or you could call it love or completion, or the end of that contraction, the end of feeling as if this isn't it, this end of feeling limited, of feeling imprisoned, of feeling victim. So the end of the dream is what's wanted. The end of the dream of being someone, of being a separate someone. The end of the dream that thoughts are true, that thoughts are reality, that mind is reality. I'm not sure what I was saying there. What was I saying? Yeah, so that's the point of these well, of why these talks seem to happen, this message seems to happen, to describe an alternate way of or alternate reality. That life doesn't need to be suffering for humans. Life doesn't need to be imprisoned. And that's only our way of thinking as humans. That isn't the reality. It's just our way of thinking. Who knows when it started, this way of humans? Who knows when it began? We're so quick to blame society or our parents for not doing this or doing that, or the way society's messed up. And who knows? all we have is, we have all these theories about things, but all we really have is this moment, what is currently happening. And by that, I don't mean like what we imagine is happening. So our imaginations of out there and what's happening tomorrow and yesterday. And I mean, what's actually happening. What's actually happening. And you can say, well, thoughts are what's happening, but thoughts, and they are what's happening, but thoughts are talking about something else that isn't happening. Even when it's just talking about like the sound of the water pump, it's still an abstraction from the sound of the water pump. It's the thought of it isn't actually it. It's a thought appearing. And you could like blame thought for this, for the suffering of humans. Like thought seems to be where the suffering is, but actually thought is just thought. Thought is just, I don't even know what thought is. Oh, what's that word? Ethereal, etheric, ethereal, ethereal, yeah, ethereal, ethereal. I don't know what thought is, but it's actually an amazing thing, this imagination, this ability to think. Thoughts appear. They just appear. Like everything else. Action appears. Feelings appear. It's miraculous. But there's just been so much investment in thought, so much power given to the intellect, to thinking. So this is the gift. This is the treasure. That this is appearing. That life is appearing. And you can't lose that. That gift you can't lose. Because it's always appearing. It's always happening. Movement, change. If you believe the treasure is in a particular thing, a particular object, a particular thought, a particular experience, then you suffer when that object isn't appearing. But if it's life itself is the treasure, then there can't be the losing of that, because it always is. It's always life. It's always this. We have preferences as humans, but human preferences, we prefer this over this. But in seeing who you are, or in being who you are, then it doesn't matter so much whether your preference is appearing or not. It doesn't take anything away from you. It doesn't add anything to you either. Okay, so I'll just check on Skype for any questions. Nice to see you, Lola. Or to hear from you. Thanks, dear Rebekah. Oh yeah, please share how you felt when the person in your mind dropped off, or how was your apparent awakening like? So I can't go back in time to an event. I can't do that. But what I can describe is the bottom on the seat. I can describe the computer humming. I can describe my abdomen moving out, in and out. I can describe the sound of the water pump, the car sound passing by, the feeling of the blanket on my hand, the phone in my other hand, little tingles on my arm, another car sound passing by, my finger touching my thumb, the stool leg touching my leg, the liquid in my mouth, the warmth on my skin, That's the way that I would describe it. That was Prachi. Thank you, Prachi, for your question. I had one in Gmail as well. Let me just go to Gmail. Cribbin, I think. Cribbin. Could you just talk about? Could you consider talking about fear and the coronavirus in one of your talks? Coronavirus. I'm not really. I don't feel equipped or qualified to discuss coronavirus. Because I don't really watch. I don't watch TV. I don't read about it. So I'm probably the worst person to discuss the coronavirus, not being kind of heavily involved in it. I was at my mum's this week, so I got to see a bit of the news, and I was hearing about the people stockpiling food, and then some fear came because I hadn't done any of that. So, oh my god, no food at home, and it's all gone from the supermarkets, and so a bit of fear came then. Through being like a bit left out of what's going on, sort of thing. But I just there's an exciting element to it. Like it's a bit different to the norm. It's quite an unusual event to be happening. So that feels quite enjoyable. The excitement of what's going on now, it's quite exciting in that sense. Obviously, it's sad as well what's happening for people, the change, the upheaval, the loss of loved ones. But there's something really beautiful about it. There's something really beautiful that I like about it. I think it's like its sense of community that it brings out. It's really lovely, that sense of we're all in it. Like it's regardless of what race you are, what gender, sexuality, what class, whether you're rich or poor, famous or not famous. It's like regardless of who you are, your status in this reality, we're all affected by it equally. It's quite a lovely thing. Like it crosses all boundaries. It's really lovely, that part of it. A sense of, we're all together. It's lovely, a lovely feeling to it. Yeah, it's a really lovely feeling. Lots of homeschooling parents have done lists of things you can do with your kids that school parents don't know about. So helping school parents to access home education resources online, and you can do it at home, and it's just really lovely. It's really lovely. Now we're all at home, we're all homeschooling, we're all like, it's lovely, it's really nice. It's really nice. Really nice. But as for the fear part, I don't know. If you're like really invested in that, then of course you'll be fearful watching it all day and obsessing about it. It's really like, I don't want to speak so much on that because I don't really live like that. I have a different kind of lifestyle. It's a bit unfair to judge others who don't live the way that I live, so it's a bit, but I just don't live like that. there more to say on that? I don't know. These things pass. They pass through. There's always some kind of thing happening, and it passes through. Yeah, you'll be affected by it, most probably, in some way, either financially or you'll lose someone, or. But this is life. This is life. This is life. It's actually healthy, I think, to have these things come up, because we live in a society, quite like a sanitized society, so we don't see death so open. We don't see these things so frequently, so it's kind of a shock when we see it so much. That's why I like seeing hearses go past on the street. I really like to see that, because it just brings up this sense of, wow, this is like a dead body is traveling. Like, it's just so amazing to see a dead body. Like, what is this? This is magical and mysterious. It kind of reminds you of that when you see that. You get stuck in your kind of way of living and the mundane stuff, and then you forget how amazing this is. Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not qualified to discuss coronavirus in detail. I don't really know anything, let alone much about it. In my little hut, I don't know what's going on in the world. But I bought some food today, so I got some food, so we'll be okay. But yeah, it's crazy out there. It's crazy in the supermarkets. The shelves are like empty, and yeah, apocalypse. It's like being in a movie. It's quite fun. Hopefully that helped. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Oh, I'm sorry, Eduardo. I feel bad reading this now. Hi, Rebecca. Already the 4th day of total lockdown in Spain. We cannot go out, see anyone, travel, meet. This is going to take a long time. In this context, can you comment a bit on freedom? Feeling of freedom, because I'm becoming a bit paranoid, thank you. I'm feeling imprisoned. Yeah, not being able to go out. It must be harsh if you're not used to being in. It must be really difficult to be confined like that. Feeling imprisoned. Yeah. Freedom. Well, freedom doesn't matter what condition the human is in. That's why it's impersonal. It doesn't matter about condition. You can be in prison, you can be poor, rich, you can be a nice person, a kind person, a nasty person, a selfish person. It doesn't matter. You have one foot, or maybe you can't see, or maybe whatever it is. It doesn't matter of the condition of the human in terms of freedom. Freedom isn't for the human. It's about what's looking out. What's looking out in all the conditions. Whether you're poor or rich, what's looking out isn't poor or rich, isn't affected by whatever is happening. So yes, the human might want to be rich or want to be able to go out or whatever it prefers, but that which is looking doesn't want anything and isn't affected by anything that appears. That's what I would call freedom. That's what I would call freedom. That doesn't mean that there can't be or there won't be an impulse for that human to do something, to act, to become rich or whatever it is. This isn't saying don't do because freedom doesn't care. It's not about you as the human. The human does, the human wants, the human lives the way it's programmed to. But what is living? Is it that narrative, that idea, that image of you living? This idea of you're male, you're Spanish, you're this, you're that. Is that the one living? Or is that an appearance? Is that being lived? Is that appearing in this? Is that one looking? Or is that being seen, looked at, experienced? This is what I would call freedom. This is what I would call freedom, not being rich and having loads of houses and freedom and lots of partners and friends and money and experiences. That's pleasure. Maybe high pleasure, but it's pleasure. You being able to go out and see friends. It's pleasure. Nothing wrong with it, but it's pleasure. It's not about freedom. There's something that's okay with it all. Thank you, Eduardo. I hope you manage to find things to occupy yourself with, hobbies and things, and begin to enjoy maybe having time off work or having time to relax. Thank you. Thank you to Kibren as well, and to Prachi. for your earlier questions. Hello, Rebecca. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Anu. Thank you, lovely. You're welcome, Eduardo. So that's the end of the stream. Yeah, so have a good week, and I am back next week, Thursday, if all goes to plan. Yeah, so have a good week, and see you next week, Thursday. Thanks for joining. Bye.